let's do a Throwback Thursday. This one's going to be another story about another rape that occurred in the parking lot of TGI Fridays down in the valley in San Diego along Interstate 8 there. Now that wasn't necessarily my beat, my area. I worked up on top of the mesa, up on Sierra Mesa, up above the valley on beat 46 out of Eastern Division, and I was working the graveyard shift. Or, no way, you know what? This time I was working the morning shift. The graveyard shift had all just gone in. I was the first one out on the street. And we get a radio call from another division, because that's outside my division, seeing if there's any officers that can go down there and take a rape report. So I went ahead and volunteered because everybody else was still dicking around in the stations. Nobody wants to be first out on the street and get the radio calls that are being held, but it didn't bother me. You're gonna put in your hours no matter what. And a lot of times you get some very interesting calls if you're first on the street. So anyways, let's get to the story. I get down to the parking lot and I meet up with this nice looking young lady sitting in her pickup truck in the parking lot, and go to confirm that she was the one who called in about being raped. She says, yeah. So I asked her to tell me, you know, what happened. And the story goes that she'd been in the bar there at TGI Fridays, drinking until closing time. She'd made friends with the bartender in the bar back. And they apparently had decided to have a little after-hours party in the parking lot. So she waited for them to get off work, and they came out, brought some booze out with them. I forget exactly what it was. Might have been nothing more than just a six-pack of beer or something. Not that important. And they were, you know, drinking and making out in the parking lot, listening to the radio in her truck and dancing around and stuff. Well, the one guy had to go home to his wife, so he left, so that just left her and the other guy, which I believe was the bartender. Well, she says that her and the bartender ended up having sex, that he forced her to have sex. And that she was trying to tell him no, but she was too drunk, and that she was on the rag, but it didn't matter. And she went on to tell me in graphic detail about how he laid her back on the front seat of the pickup truck with her legs sticking out the door, removed her panties, and removed her tampon by the string with his teeth, and proceeded to have sex with her. And last thing she remembers is passing out or falling asleep, and then waking up that morning in the parking lot, in the front seat of her truck with her panties on the ground. And she called in. And well, also that the battery on her truck was dead because they had left the radio going all night long. So I take in all the information for the report. And it's going to be pretty easy to find the suspect because he's the bartender in the bar. The detectives will follow up on that. And so, you know, I thought, okay, well, need to have her go to the hospital for a rape exam for the evidence kit. Well, she refuses to do that, says she needs to get home to her boyfriend. And she says that she'll go to the hospital later that day after her boyfriend's gone, because she don't want her boyfriend to know that she got raped. Because apparently she was supposed to be out with her girlfriend, and he'd get all jealous and mad, and, you know, either beat her up or come down and look for the bartender and beat him up. And she wanted to know if I would jumpstart her truck for her with battery cables so she could just go home. Well, I didn't have any battery cables in my car to jumpstart her with. The city didn't provide them. And I had brought mine with me that night for whatever reason. So I ended up having to call one of the city tows over to give her a jump start. And he did it for free because he felt sorry for her being a victim of rape. They got the truck started up. She headed off home. I cleared from the case with a report to be turned in to detectives for follow-up. Now, the next day I get contacted by the detectives of sex crimes downtown, because that's what division it came out of. They wanted more information than what I thought about it. Well, I don't know what you guys think about it based on what I've told you here, but I told them what I thought. I thought it was a bunch of bullshit. I thought she got drunk, was flirting with the bartender, went out there in the parking lot, partied after hours, and then they had sex and she fell asleep, woke up the next morning with a dead battery, and then needed a story to tell her boyfriend from when she got home. So she made up the bit about being raped. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. It don't matter. It wasn't up to me to make that decision, but that's, you know, the detectives asked for my opinion, and that's what I told them. And apparently, later on I found out when they went and they talked to the bartender, that's what he claimed. So I don't think it ever went to court, because I never had to go to court on it. So I think it all turned out to just be a bullshit case. Who knows? Might have just been one of them he said, she said things, her word against his, because there were no other witnesses left around at the time. So that's just another one of them that happened down there. And that was like a weekly occurrence at TGI Fridays down there in the valley in San Diego. Now, I didn't get to go on all those calls because that wasn't my beat. Wasn't even my division at that time. Usually the only time I got called on those calls is if I was the first one out of roll call and out on the street and on the radio. I'd get asked to go cover those calls that we're holding. And I had more of them besides that one. I told you one once before. Those are probably the two most interesting ones. The others were, I hate to say it like this, but just run-of-the-mill rapes. Girl gets drunk in the bar, meets some guy in the bar, they go out to the parking lot, they have sex, and she calls in a rape next morning when she wakes up. So, you be the judge of that. I didn't judge, I just took the reports and took them to the hospital. But a dead giveaway was usually if they didn't want to go to the hospital and get the evidence collection kit done. That was usually a dead giveaway that they were full of crap. And also if they had a boyfriend that they needed to have an excuse for getting home late. How come my light didn't turn green? What's up with that? There we go. Okay, that's it for this Throwback Thursday. Just another rape at the TGI Fridays. Hit the like button, give me some comments, subscribe, come back for more. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.